Hey guys, so a couple of days ago now, Nintendo released a quality of life trailer for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and today I thought we'd just kind of go through it and break it down because this gives us actually a lot of information on what they're changing about the game. So Skyward Sword is definitely a great game, but is by no means perfect. It has so many problems that just are completely unnecessary and need to be fixed, and this trailer really gives us a good idea of how Nintendo are fixing some of those things. Just quickly though, before we get into this video, I want to thank you guys so much for the support on my last couple of videos. It has been really helping me out, you guys liking and subscribing and just doing everything you are doing, so thank you so much for that. But let's just get straight into the video. So getting straight into the trailer, it opens and there's like this little cinematic or whatever, and then the first thing that Nintendo tells us is about the optional help from Fi. Honestly, I can't even physically express how happy this change makes me. So in obviously a lot of old Legend of Zelda games, as I'm sure you guys know, they all had this like little helper. Well, a lot of the games did. Like for example, in Ocarina of Time there was Navi, and in Twilight Princess it was Midna, and so in Skyward Sword it is Fi, and she just kind of helps you out with some of the harder puzzles. Like you can just ask for help or whatever, and then she'll just basically tell you what to do. And this is fine and all. I can understand that Nintendo have to reach out to a younger audience, but fucking hell, Fi is so annoying. So you guys who played the original game will know exactly what I'm talking about, but you couldn't go 5 minutes without your sword glowing and her asking, to help you out or whatever, and it just got so annoying. It was actually unbearable. So right now, I'm not exactly sure how this change is going to fully work, because previously she would just force herself out sometimes. I'm guessing that is completely removed and is always only optional, and I'm guessing maybe the option for her to give you advice won't come up as often. Maybe that would just, this small change would just have such a big effect on the game. It would just make it so much more fun because of how annoying she actually got. So the next thing Nintendo spoke about was the enhanced control options, and we obviously knew this already. We clearly knew that the Joy-Cons were going to be more responsive than the Wiimote and the Nunchuck, and here it's just basically showing off that you can actually play in handheld, and maybe this means you can play with a Pro Controller. I'm really hoping so, because honestly I'm way too lazy to always be using Joy-Cons to play this game. So the next stuff they talk about is basically just like convenience. Like for example, here they talk about a smoother frame rate, and I'm guessing that just means that it's going to run at 60 FPS constantly, which is actually really nice. It's going to feel really smooth. But Breath of the Wild runs at 30 FPS, so it wouldn't be awful if it ran at 30, but it is definitely nice that it is going to run at 60, I'm guessing. And let's just take into consideration that this is actually a Wii game, so obviously it should run better, right? So the next thing it talks about is fast forwarding dialogue, and this does seem like a small change, and honestly when I was playing through Skyward Sword this didn't seem like a huge deal anyway. Like, it wasn't too annoying that you couldn't like fast forward through it. But honestly, this actually seems pretty helpful, especially to people who have played the game originally and aren't going to be paying too much attention to what every single NPC is saying. So this is definitely an improvement, and it is a good change nonetheless. So the next thing is about streamlined item information, and this again may seem like a little change, but this is absolutely huge. I don't know if some of you remember from previously. I'm guessing you do remember because it was really annoying. But on Skyward Sword on the Wii, every time you would save and then you'd come off the game, when you'd go back on, every time you'd pick up an item, it would like tell you exactly what it is and like run through it. And it was so annoying. And sometimes you would want to not pick up some items because it was just so annoying to every single time have to go through, looking at the item and then it telling you exactly what it is when you've already seen and been told what it is like 35 times already. It's not good. So the last thing that they actually talk about is skippable cutscenes, and this again is sort of a small change. I think it's mainly for the people who have already played through Skyward Sword. Like for the people who haven't played it before, they're probably not going to use this feature at all because they're going to want to watch through them because they've never seen them before. But for those who are revisiting it, they're not going to be paying as much attention to that, and they will probably just want to skip through them. So this is again a good change, but it's not as good as obviously like the streamlined item information. So in conclusion, I am really happy that we got that trailer. It's so good to see that Skyward Sword is getting the changes to the bugs that it really needs and deserves. This game is a great game, but it just had so many problems that I think was kind of holding it back, and it seems like when they bring it out on the Switch, it could actually do really well after fixing all of this stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did make it this far in the video, if you could like, that would really help me out. And if you could consider subscribing, that would also really help me out. You can always unsubscribe in the future. But thank you all so much for watching, and thank you for the support on my last video, and I'll see you in the next one.